stand for nothing, they falling for anything. St. Patrick's Day wearing a chain, Gucci colors on his collar, eating lobster at the auction. In exchange for your dollars, these politicians is nothing. Gotta rush into the swamp with his hat in hand. Mr. Massie, you the man, homie, stand your ground. They know the cost of everything, but not the value, so they cheapen themselves, I wouldn't doubt you. Try to house you, he the dude for the job. They own the juice, so they lying, mass appeal to the mob. Got you too scared to speak truth to power. They would rather run the country in the ruin. It's the cowardice of vultures flying above, trying to feed on the culture. No fire in the forge, the only heat's in the holster. Think you got it backwards, whole world upside down. Your own bro sold you out for a pat on the back, but they'll know what they had when it's gone. They'll know what they had when it's gone. They'll know what they had when it's gone. But we knew what we had all along. The man for the moment, moving up to the big leagues. If not, he's going back to the homestead, foraging, not afraid to play the villain. And I respect it in the midst of all the greed and the thirst for acceptance. It's the principles that lost when you play with the big toys. I know it ain't easy, but someone's gotta do it. So here's to those few and far between. One who stands on principle, rarely ever seen. But there he was, plain as day. Glimpse of sunshine in the sky of gray. Brighter days ahead, Massie, hang your head high. Never fold, never buckle, brother, hold your line. Cause even the folks from the city recognize your backbone. In a world of milkmen, you stood like a mastodon, never to be moved. And for that they applaud. Let the fools talk, you the man, Massie, stand your ground. They'll know what they had when it's gone. They'll
This is a Dissident Media production. DissidentMedia.net.
In a world where everything sucks, two men have the balls to laugh at it. This is The System is Down.
Well, Trump's back on with Ukraine. Zelensky's real cool, and Massie's not cool anymore. Trump's doing a bit of a rug pull, just L's all around. Let's go, talk about it.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Today's episode of The System is Down is brought to you in almost its sole entirety by you guys in the Downers Club. People like William Ogle, Sir Tur, Nathan Gall, Keenover, Gilda Kate, John Winshire, Bob Seifert, Drugs for Robots, Trashman, Abrogate, Dees, Maxwell, Brian, Justico, Silas, Joey, Perry, Adam, Donald, Matt, Ozma, Taz, Danielle, SDG, Level Zero, Van Zott, Media, Stephen Hartman, Rick Duran, Craig DaCosta, Ryan, Howie, Mary, Justin, William, all of you fun, fine, fabulous folks in the Downers Club. Thank you so much for supporting the show. If you want to get your name on that list and have it read incorrectly someday, go on over to patreon.com/The System is Down, where you'll get more weird, more raw, more offensive, more weekly content, and you might get live streams in the future when we stop doing public live streams, if that happens to happen in the near future. Wink, wink. Get ahead of it. Get on it. Patreon.com/The System is Down. The times they are changing, but we'll all be okay. Or we won't. We might die. But if we all die, we don't want to go down alone. So I am joined, as always, by the great, the one and only Mr. David Casey. Dave, how are you doing, sir?
Bro, I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here with you, ready for confetti, bro.
You confetti ready?
I'm confetti ready, man.
All right. Well, we've got a lot to get to today. I don't know. It's not a ton, really, that compared to what the year has been so far. I feel like this last week hasn't been that much news comparatively, but there's a few big things and a few concerning things and a few things that I feel like we've had a few hints at over the last few months also that we keep trying to pretend like aren't concerning, but they just keep getting more concerning. So we're going to talk about them and so much more. Now, let's see. We're going to start off. I know it might be a bit of a downer episode for some people who just want to hear us talk positively about Trump as, libertarians and whatnot. But I don't want it to be all bad news. So we're going to start off with some good news just to lighten the mood. Perhaps you've heard Rosie O'Donnell has officially left the building. Rosie is now a citizen of Ireland and will be residing there henceforth. And to her, I say Godspeed, and to Ireland, I say I'm sorry. Yeah. What else can you say other than I bet she's definitely not on any flight logs? What do you think, Dave?
Oh, we don't have to spend much time on this, but thank you.
No, we don't. I'm not even going to listen to her video.
But I did see that video, and I hate watched it. She opens it up by saying, I'm Rosie O'Donnell from the Flintstones movie. And then she goes on to say about how much,
Y'all remember that movie, right? That Flintstones live action movie? I do, because I had a sheltered childhood, but most people, it wasn't on their top 10 viewing list, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's funny. You've seen 10 movies, and that's one of them.
That's right.
Yeah, you should be grateful for Rosie. But yeah, that's so funny that America gave you everything in your life. You're in the top 0.00001% of people who ever lived on Earth, and you got it here in America, but you're just really, scared right now. Things are just not the same. I don't know. You live a life of privilege, and you always have, at least, for the past 30 or 40 years, but you can't take it. It's just so retarded, but I'm glad she's gone. I'm glad you left.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dave, I don't disagree with you, but you can't. I mean, we spent the last 4 years saying, hey, if you don't like it, just go. You keep saying you're going to go, just go. And hey, a couple celebrities are like, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, because it seems like the Epstein files are getting a little bit closer to the surface. So I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm getting the hell out of here. I don't know if it has anything to do with Epstein or not. That's certainly speculation. However,
did you see Ellen's cryptic crying message from
did.
England?
And I also saw the community notes that's actually from 4 years ago, and it was about George Floyd. Yeah, I got duped by it for a second, too.
That's good. That's really good trolling, whoever did that. But thank you, community notes. Okay.
That's right. Yeah, who knows? Ellen's still gone also, and it is worth a mention that it's now a few weeks since we were definitely going to be getting the Epstein files, and now that we have them all and they've been out to the public for the last few weeks, everything has changed. Everything is different. We can totally trust Pam Bondi and all of Trump's appointments, right, Dave?
I don't know, like you said it in the opening stinger there, bud. Just a bunch of L's this past week, and
a whole lot of them,
stacking them up. Yeah.
Yep. Now, I do want to point out that the left is not taking this stuff lightly. They're not taking a stand against. Some of them are leaving the country. Others are trying to, fight Trump's evil economy by boycotting it. And so there's this planned 24-hour blackout on February 20. Oh, that already happened. So we're already well past it and feeling the sturdy effects of the left's economy boycott, where they were going to not make any purchases. No Amazon, no Walmart, no Best Buy, no McDonald's. I mean, we just have to list off store names to make it seem like we have a list. Don't go buy stuff. Would have just covered all this. No gas, no major retailers. Don't use credit cards, blah, blah, blah. Why this matters: corporations and banks only care about their bottom line. Disrupting the economy for even one day sends a powerful message. If they don't listen, we make the next blackout longer. Okay, well, they didn't listen because nothing happened. Probably nobody even boycott, but those that did probably stocked up right before and right after this grueling 24-hour boycott that they did, which means that they didn't boycott anything. They just planned ahead and defeated their own point. But just I was concerned because I didn't realize that was almost a month ago already. But and I was afraid that it was going to have the significant impact on the economy that they believed it did. It didn't. I can tell you confidently from the future, it did not. Because eggs are still really expensive, Dave.
Yes, they are.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was trying to think of a time when boycotts worked, and I'm having a hard time.
Bud Light.
Okay. Yeah, you really have to have like the majority of the people on your side. And it can't be for a day because like you won't be able to see the blip on the screen. Right.
Yep.
You have to like commit to a boycott or it really is stupid. Like this is just
a 24-hour boycott is going to do absolutely nothing. Like there are plenty of days that I don't go to a store and buy something. Lots of them. Like that's pretty normal to not buy something in a day. It's not even like cutting that much of a cost out of your day.
Imagine if the people protesting the war in Gaza were just like, stop this war for a day.
Right. That'll show them.
That'll show them. If you could do that, you could, not do much at all.
Dave, I did want to ask you, are egg prices really expensive where you are? Because I haven't noticed them being really expensive here. I've heard about these prices being like tens of dollars, $12s of dollars, who knows? But Elizabeth Warren said, Donald Trump, America is back. But then we can see she has this headline, U.S. egg prices hit a record high of $4.95 and are likely to keep climbing. Now, to me, $4.95 doesn't even sound like a record high from what we've been told egg prices have been at. But now, that's good enough. Donald Trump is failing. Like, of all the things that we're going to criticize Donald Trump on today, we've still got people like Elizabeth Warren being like, eggs are $5, and so Donald Trump's bad. But, yeah.
I love that. I love that their new thing is that, inflation is all because of anything he did over the past month. Pete Buttigieg is talking about how tariffs are taxes. So like on one sense, it completely ignores the fact that they never gave a fuck about any of that stuff and are responsible for so much of it. Mm-hmm. But now whatever it takes, I'm actually delighted to see a dude on the Democratic side talk about how tariffs are taxes. Yeah. It's cheap and you don't probably care about that stuff, but it's still true. So, but the egg stuff, when I had the waffle spot, that's when I saw eggs were the worst, like $7, $8, like 2021, 2022. So that's what they do when this kind of stuff happens. They run the ball all the way down the field and then pull back a little bit. So like things regulate at around whatever it is now, $5 or $6. That sounds about right. I never saw an $18 egg ticket. I saw them online, but that sounds about reasonable. $5.
Again, we're going to have plenty of criticism for Trump today, but the cost of eggs is never going to be on the top of my concerns list ever, because if eggs get to, let's say, $1 million per egg, I'm just not going to eat eggs, and that's okay. I will be okay.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's not going to go to $1 million, but just say eggs went to $20 a carton. I mean, eggs go in a lot of stuff. So every time you go out to eat, and that would just be symptomatic of all other stuff. It's just
the market will provide. Liquid egg product will still exist, and they'll come up with a way to make cookies without eggs.
In a lab that didn't come from chickens, they'll give you liquid egg. That's not what we want. We want fucking eggs that cost, under. I mean, dude, it was only 5 years ago. Eggs cost, $1.50, $2 tops. If you wanted like organic, $2.50 or something like that. So something's happening. Eggs don't cost more to produce.
No, it's a side, Dave. I reject your evidence to the contrary.
I want cheap eggs. I want cheap food and services, and I don't want liquid science egg.
Yeah. Fine. Well, if you're wanting more natural, we do have Steak and Shake. The they're playing to the base. Eat more
Yeah,
beef
they are.
tallow. Eat more beef tallow. Steak and Shake is leading the beef tallow charge that I don't think anybody knew what beef tallow was, and I still don't know what beef tallow is. Nobody did until probably Kennedy said it at some point in the last few months. Now everybody's believes that beef tallow is the answer to all of our fast food woes. And hey, whatever, try it out. If it's more natural, go for it. And I applaud them for leading that charge, and for a franchise that is kind of in the gutter since COVID, I have noticed. It does make sense for them to be like, well, let's try this. Like if the cost is close enough that we can make it work, this is at the very least a great PR strategy to get a whole bunch of people who are, the majority of Americans who voted for the current administration will like this type of thing. So yeah, good on them for it. And then there was some back and forth that they had with one of the Mises accounts or something. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it pulled, but what happened there? I don't remember.
They made a joke about
Something about praxis.
I think that was it. And I think it was from Mises Institute, I believe. But
Yeah, 'cause they had Anatomy of the State or some book in the background.
That's really niche to go after that. So yeah, thanks. That's cool.
Good on them. Also, not to be outdone, In-N-Out Burger is asking if they should accept Bitcoin. I don't know why you can't see that. There we go. Asking if they should accept Bitcoin. So, just steps, a few tiny steps in the right directions of libertarian utopia. But I don't really have any sort of transition out of that into the Supreme Court is talking about conversion therapy right now. Trying to outlaw conversion therapy, be it transgender or gay or what have you. Transgendering conversion therapy, whatever. This is a video I don't even remember if I've watched, but I pulled it up on this topic.
The Supreme Court announced it will hear a case regarding whether a state's ban on conversion therapy is legal. Childs
What?
Can't see it.
Whoops. Here you
versus Salazar is a case challenging Colorado's ban on LGBTQ conversion therapy for minors. It asked justices to broadly decide whether laws that censor, quote, certain conversions between counselors and their clients based on the viewpoints expressed are constitutional. Conversion therapy, as it's commonly known, refers to any practices that aim to influence a patient's sexual orientation or gender identity. They've been framed as efforts to, quote, cure homosexuality or being transgender.
Any efforts at all to convince your child that they were actually, in fact, born in the right body, that should be outlawed, because that is conversion therapy. And it is ironic that, conversion therapy is considered like if you try and talk your child out of converting to a different gender, if you try and talk them out of it, then that is converting them to your ideology. And if you, if you affirm them and allow them to, convert their body in whatever ways, if they are converting themselves and you are encouraging that, that's just affirmation. And it's such inversion of words, even that conversion therapy, telling your child that they are wonderful and they are in the right body and they are good and they don't need to change, that is considered bad and should be outlawed now. That's what Congress is talking about.
Of course I'm not surprised, but that's butchering that term. Conversion therapy used to mean where Christian parents would take their gay kid to ungay them. That used to be what that means. But at least, and I'm not sure if that should be a thing. I'm not saying outlaw it, but at least that is the proper use of the language.
Right.
You know what I mean? These guys are using some double speak here. If you're saying that this is about outlawing conversion therapy, meaning your boy comes to you and says, "I'm a girl," and you say, "No, you're not." That's converting. That's right. Being the okay. Yeah. That's
it says conversion therapy, as it is commonly known, refers to any practices that aim to influence a patient's sexual orientation or gender identity. So if you are trying to influence them, even if you are telling somebody who wants to get get their boobs chopped off and start testosterone. You're telling a girl the potential ramifications of that type of procedure. That would be, I guess, by this definition, that would be conversion therapy, because you're practicing practices that aim to influence a patient's sexual orientation. But if they go in and they say, I want this, the doctor says, we can do this immediately right now, that's also pushing somebody's sexual orientation. Like, it's not any different. You're still encouraging somebody's sexual orientation. It's just the one that they say that they are. That's the one that you're allowed to push. So, yeah.
And all of this is still just so awful. Like, I hate, this is always what the state wants to do, is just find a way to wedge itself in between parents and children.
Yeah.
Just pry them apart. And if you create a law where you're not allowed to tell your whatever 10, 11, 12-year-old kid that they're not trapped in another body, like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That kid, because that kid who's already going through some shit will call the police on you.
Yeah.
So,
and they would be within their right to do so at this point, it sounds like, or at least with what we're pushing for here. Speaking of conversion therapy, big news here, continuing on the good news train. Harry Sisson has been spotted on the internet with what might be a woman.
Show me your face. That's a man.
Yep, it's something. It's some sort of feminine type person giving the middle finger to the camera while hiding her face. And Harry Sisson somehow, even with a woman sitting on his lap, looks even gayer than he ever has. He looks so uncomfortable in this picture. Many people have speculated what the story is behind this. Is this just somebody who Harry is dating, and they're ashamed to be seen with Harry Sisson? Or could it be that Harry Sisson is ashamed to be seen with her? Because the internet has different takes on this. Let's see. Oh, why won't it open? Why won't you open bigger? All right, you can see it all. Whatever. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of wild speculation and theories that AI has produced of Harry's masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine lover. But it has yet to be seen what the real identity is of Harry Sisson's definitely woman counterpart here. But the internet does what the internet does, and it's a beautiful thing. Anyway, one more thing on, or no, not one more thing. This is from your neck of the woods, Dave. This happened this morning, I believe, with Sarah McBride. Did you see this?
Yes.
Yes? All right. Well, yeah. Perhaps you can explain it better. We'll run the clip, but here it is.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman,
You gotta be able to
would you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman?
The
Would you
standard-
repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency?
How
I
dare
have
you,
come
sir?
to know you a little bit, but this is not.
This is an
decent.
outrage.
Continue this
You
hearing.
will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
Say it's a woman.
This hearing is adjourned.
What a fag. Not Sarah McBride, that guy.
Sure, yeah. I mean, Sarah McBride seemed to be less offended by it than that dude did. Sarah McBride is just like, all right, Madam Chair, like,
got a zinger
just
in.
rolling with it, like, fuck you, all right, carrying on. Didn't make a big deal.
Now,
didn't
I
act like a
wonder,
woman
though,
about it or anything, but this dude did.
But isn't that, I mean, that's the official policy, that
Right.
there's two genders and you are to be identified as that. So, like,
But
he had a point, but she actually was out of order. I think, by saying I'm curious about that since she called.
Is it? Because
she
as far as
misgendered
I
him.
know, this new Trump, you can only be a man or woman in official positions. It still kind of applies if she called him a man and he called her, or she called him a woman and he called her a man. It's still just the two genders that Donald Trump said were allowed to be discussed or whatever. It's still, if that is since that is a biological man, it still makes sense to call that person a woman under Trump's law, because the law does, as far as I know, doesn't say you have to call a man and a woman a woman. It just says there is only two genders, and both of these people were identified within those categories.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's still funny.
It is funny. And it's not the first time that's happened. And I'm just like, yeah, it happened in the halls of Congress the first time. But I mean, I can't help it, but I love this. And I called this, months before Sarah was put in place, which really was like placed there, not elected. Didn't even debate the Republican here. It's such a shit show. But I was like, nobody knows that we're going to get a tranny House rep. Nobody knows that. But that's definitely going to happen, and there's going to be all kinds of funny shit that ensues from it, and now we get to enjoy that. And I like that it's at least part of the national conversation. And if I was standing there, I would call Sarah McBride Sarah.
Sure.
That's their name. But that guy, the Democrat cisgender guy there, was like so offended. This meeting cannot take place.
How dare you? Harumph, I say.
Oh my God. The pearl clutching is just out of this world.
Yeah.
Funny shit.
Yeah. Like, I don't care, frankly, that if he calls her a Mr. or a Miss or whatever. I just don't care at all. The feigned outrage is what I find more funny, of the guy who had nothing to do with it being the one to be like, oh, pearl clutch and defend the damsel in distress. Like, all right, bro, calm down. But, there might be a way around all of this, Dave, that doesn't require conversion therapy or anything like that, because Milo Yiannopoulos has the ex-gay pill now that kills parasites that cause homosexuality. Take 2-3 times a day for 10 days. For best results, add prayer. Former very loud gay man Milo Yiannopoulos, who is allegedly very straight man Milo Yiannopoulos now, is definitely not grifting here at all on his ex-gay pills. There is a link. This is not a joke. Lest you think it is a joke, he is selling these, and you can, I believe, add it to the cart. Yes, you can. I've already got 2 in there, as you can see, because I want to be extra straight by next week. I'm going to be downing these daily.
Double the dose, bro.
I haven't looked that much at this website, but there's a man and a woman section. I'm not sure if there are different... Oh, there's just underwear. Women's underwear. Okay. Ex-gay... thongs. That's ex-brat. This is some of the gayest attire I've ever seen a straight man make, but all right, let's see what men have. Oh, really gay looking underwear that say ex-gay, and tank crop tops.
You're the gayest guy ever, dude. This is the best troll from a gay guy I've ever seen. So good.
Oh, I didn't peruse the website yet, but this is some of the gayest anti-gay propaganda I've ever seen.
Awesome.
And, okay. So yeah, you can buy pills that kill the gay parasite. Now, if there is scientific studies, which, I believe that there are scientific studies that say that certain parasites seem to be more prevalent in certain types of people. I don't know. If there is that, and somebody is offered these pills in order to remove their parasite, is that a crime, Dave? Is it a crime to convert them?
Parasites? Yeah, exactly. You need to ask yourself that.
Yeah.
Well, if you... Okay, but you're not part. I'm actually thinking about that in the legal sense. I mean, you're selling the thing, but you're not doing the thing. It's like, so you wouldn't you shouldn't anyway, hold gun manufacturers liable for people that commit crimes with guns. So some people would
take the guns and ask questions later. Yeah.
Bro, some people are going to take your ex-gay and they're going to take that from you. Pry it from your cold gay hands.
Now, Dave, give us the Alex Jones infomercial version of Milo Yiannopoulos' ex-gay pills.
All right, listen here, gays. We got some pills here that are going to take the gay away. Just double them up like Dan's got them. Put 2 of them in your shopping cart. Code GAY. X-gay. On the checkout. Less gay.
You got to be able to pume.
All right. Now, let's get into some President Trump, the man of the year. But before we do that, because it's all just dumb Trump L's for the most part from here on out. So if you're a big hardcore mega cult guy, now might be your time to go get your panties in a wad preemptively and gear yourself up for the bitch slap that's coming to your golden boy, who we both voted for and ardently supported. But, we'll be right back. Go buy some shirts.
Hey there, do you like shirts? Of course you do. Well, get a load of these shirts from dissidentshop.com. Your one-stop shop for all the latest designs that will make your friends go, oh, wow. That guy is so based, I want to be his friend during the apocalypse. Go to dissidentshop.com and wear the dissidents you want to see in the world.
Hi, I'm Ruby Wednesday, a strong, independent pup and a lifelong bitches advocate. I have a new channel where I share pieces of my life to try to help my fellow bitches cope by drawing attention to myself for clicks and validation. If you're into shows like Sex and the City, Gossip Girl, and an all-female reboot of The Call of the Wild, you're just the kind of wolf queen I'm looking for. Check me out now at Official Ruby Wednesday on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and all the strong bitch socials. At Official Ruby Wednesday. Go follow me and keep bugging bitches.
Have you or a loved one been injured by some fuck nuggets, reckless driving, a tumble at your shitty job, or some other form of dumb shit outside of your control? Well, fear not, because today's episode is sponsored by a lawyer. Lone Star Injury Attorneys is an award-winning personal injury law firm that achieves maximum results for its injured clients. Max the Axe is not just a lawyer, but a hardcore Mises Caucus libertarian and also a big supporter of this show and all of our bullshit. Max is the best personal injury lawyer in Texas, but don't judge him by his occupation or location. Max is an avid defender of liberty and justice in whatever state you got fucked in. If you've been injured and your ass needs saving, go with the pros at Lone Star Injury Attorneys. Visit LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com or Google Max the Axe. Consultations are free and you don't pay a single dime unless you win. Once again, go to LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com and get your ass covered.
And we're back.
Hi, I'm Ruby Wednesday.
No, confetti. Confetti is what we're going for. Thank you. All right. Anyway, Trump. Back to Trump. Trump has been on some shit this last week, and I don't know that I've heard much good out of Trump in the last week, which is unfortunate. Very unfortunate after a good first month and feeling like, hey, things are on the up and up, but we'll just get into them. Trump first and foremost said, following my previously signed executive orders, ICE proudly apprehended and detained Mahmoud Khalil, a radical foreign pro-Hamas student on the campus of Columbia University. This is the first arrest of many to come. We know there are more students at Columbia and other universities across the country who have engaged in pro-terrorist, anti-Semitic, anti-American activity, and the Trump administration will not tolerate it. Many are not students. They are paid agitators. We will find, apprehend, and deport these terrorist sympathizers from our country, never to return again. If you support terrorism, including the slaughtering of innocent men, women, and children, your presence is contrary to our national and foreign policy interests, and you are not welcome here. We expect every one of America's colleges and universities to comply. Thank you. Okay, so guy named Mahmoud Khalil organized some sort of protest against Israel and in support of Hamas. Be that I don't know exactly what the details were. Probably more pro-Gaza than pro-Hamas. Donald Trump saying it's pro-Hamas, but he also just said that he's revoking Chuck Schumer's Jew card, and he is now a Palestinian because Trump has that power and all that. But I don't like feeling in agreement with leftists all that often, but I think this is not a good move. I don't know exactly the details on the protest. I don't think it was violent. I don't think there was any terrorist activities outside of them having a problematic opinion. And Donald Trump said, well, we are going to not only revoke your student visa, we are going to revoke your permanent resident green card in the country. This guy is a permanent resident on a legal citizen green card. He's married to a U.S. citizen, and Donald Trump had him arrested for protesting the war in Gaza. And this is also on the heels of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and all these people pushing things like the H-1B visas. We need to bring in more immigrants so that we, just the good ones, just the smart ones, the ones that agree with us, the ones that are going to do the big brain tech computer stuff. We need to be able to bring them in. But somebody who's here legally, somebody who went through all the process, got here legally, and now has problematic opinions, we can just arrest, revoke, and kick them out is what we're going for here. And currently, the plan is to deport him, and a judge has put a halt on it. And we'll get into that in a minute. But what are your thoughts so far, Dave? Is this the pro-free speech Donald Trump that we all voted for?
We voted for him, and probably still the right call. And he's lucky that he's already the best president of my lifetime when he started doing all this awful, awful shit, which is a direct continuation of George W. Bush era policies.
Yes.
And as somebody who lived through that and is now middle-aged and still pissed about it, I got to tell you, man, I fucking detest watching another round of 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-old boomer con fucking ingrate retards sucking Donald Trump's fucking cock as they cheer this on. Oh, we love it. We got to make an example out of this guy. We got to take him. Dude, set the precedent. All this bullshit. Fucking Insurrection Barbie to Mark Levin. All these fucking cocksuckers, dude. They're just the worst. And the ones that know what they're doing, fuck them. And the ones that are too stupid to see what's going to happen to them. Again, this is the same thing libertarians were doing 22 years ago when the Patriot Act was getting pushed through. Don't do this. Don't do this. Someday this is going to be turned on you. They did not listen. And of course, you're living in the shadow of that. All the things that came out, sprung from that. And it's just so disappointing, dude. And that's all you got to do. You got to demoralize and fuck up one generation. And now we're on to another one that didn't live through that. So they don't see what's going to come about because of this. They can't see 2 feet in front of them, dude. And today it's that guy, a big scary name from a place that you don't like, who
Mahmoud? How could he not be a terrorist, Dave?
Right, exactly.
It's so post 9/11. It's
Dude,
insane. And we didn't have anything happen. We didn't have an attack on our country. We're talking about protesting a war against 2 foreign countries, and that is pro-terrorist activity. It's not terrorist activity, obviously, but it is pro-terrorist if you take a side in somebody else's war, which Donald Trump's certainly taken a side. But yeah, it's so post 9/11, it is horrifying, especially since we didn't have a 9/11. I mean, the Democrats think we did on January 6th, but we weren't attacked by anybody at all. And we're talking about locking up U.S. citizens for thinking the wrong thing about a foreign war.
insane and un-American. America first, fuck you. This is honestly, dude, like I'm really glad that we're pivoting into this portion of the show because I feel right at home now. It felt foreign to be like, yeah,
it felt wrong to be winning.
Yeah, so like, all this
That's the
stuff
libertarian
about
in you,
Massie.
Dave.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just used to this footing of no, fuck you. I'm used to having unpopular opinions and whatever else. But I've seen this all over the place. This is about the Massie stuff, and this too. It's an IQ test.
Yeah.
If you're for this, if you are for censoring speech, it's like as if there's no solution to an act of violence on a college campus.
Right.
You live in a police state. Call the fucking police. You need the president to enact federal policy about dangerous speech. You're a faggot.
Well said, Dave. And just poetry. Yeah, like if these people are, and especially after what we've had under Trump, even with the BLM protests and all that, where people weren't really arrested for firebombing Starbucks over some dude that got killed by a cop or whatever. Now we're talking about somebody having a protest about a foreign war and getting arrested for that. Just because that's that's pro-terrorist activity if you feel that way. And yeah, it's Patriot Act 2.0 coming down the pike, guys. We've been saying, we did vote for all this stuff. We did, yeah, but I didn't vote for this. And we have said since the beginning, even in our pivot to supporting Trump and endorsing Trump even, we said from the beginning, if he does some dumb shit, we're going to say, hey, that's some dumb shit you're doing, and this is some fascist bullshit that Donald Trump's doing right now, at least in this one case. But he's saying that this is just the one of many to come. Many more U.S. citizens will be arrested and potentially deported for having wrong opinions on foreign affairs.
Bro, I don't think people realize how close they are to being able to say criticizing Israel is anti-Semitism is terrorism.
Yep.
Like, direct line. If you criticize the government doing the thing, black bag, thrown in a cell, because then you're the T word. They don't have to waste time with all the, right to remain silent, all this shit. No. You're a T word, black bag, thrown away, never to be seen again.
And I've had this feeling for a while watching the rise of so-called anti-Semitism on Twitter that has been unchecked for the most part lately. And I like that people have the freedom of speech to explore things and have discussions that have been deemed out of bounds of the realm of possible discussion. I like that you're able to do that, but I've felt like since that's been allowed on Twitter, I've just had this thing in the back of my mind for the last 6 months of I feel like this is setting people up for some sort of rug pull. Like, we're going to give them the comfort of, you can talk about whatever you want. And to the point that it's almost encouraged to get down this rabbit hole lately, it feels like. And now that so many have gone down that rabbit hole and are speaking vocally about it, and to their credit, people like Candace Owens and what's his name? Ian Carroll, and people just pointing out connections to things like Epstein and Israel and that type of thing. Yeah, now that we are to this point, suddenly, all of a sudden, Donald Trump, the greatest threat to Donald Trump's democracy is anti-Semitism for some reason. Just out of nowhere. And now we're going to arrest people for terroristic anti-Semitism. And this is also on the heels of Donald Trump saying that he's going to arrest people for quote-unquote illegal protests, and he's going to deport people for anti-Semitism. These are all posts that he has made over the last 3 weeks, and there have been signs leading up to now we have arresting people for being quote-unquote anti-Semitic, for having the wrong opinion on a war. Now, the deportation or the revoking of his green card, I believe, was halted for now because a judge has halted it. And the exclusive from Laura Loomer is Exclusive. Marxist Jewish activist judge and his family exposed. I don't know. It's an Obama-appointed Jewish judge. I don't know what even the fucking plot is anymore, Dave. Laura Loomer is Jewish, and she's like, this Jewish judge. Like, what are we talking about? The guy who
that's the new thing, dude.
The guy who's pro-Hamas is being blocked by a Jewish judge from being deported. So the Jewish judge is bad because he's Jewish for blocking a pro-Hamas. It's just fucking there's no sense to be made of any of this. But I don't know. Are you picking up something that I'm not?
That's the new thing. The left-wing Jew is the enemy of Israel. I've seen Steve Bannon say that. Trump's fucking with Trump. Bro, I'm learning still, but they're not down with the cause, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know. So Jews are mad at Jews now. You're the wrong kind of Jew.
There's an upside and a downside to every Schwartz. That's the thing.
It's starting to sound like libertarians attacking libertarians, but who knows? We've got bigger fish to fry right now than Laura Loomer being mad that somebody else is Jewish and supporting Hamas or something. Here's another just a fun screen grab that I got. This is so the quote is Nick Fuentes saying, Republicans can't hold on. Republicans can't claim to defend. I can't. It's just going to end up turning into Ben Shapiro, and that would be offensive. Republicans can't claim to defend free speech while simultaneously using government to punish American citizens for criticizing Israel. And to that, Rabbi Shmuley said, Nazis, they live among us. Nick Fuentes Rabbi Shmuley certainly thinks that Nick Fuentes is a Nazi and always has, but for him that to be his commentary on the post that Republicans can't claim to defend free speech while simultaneously using government to punish American citizens for criticizing Israel, that is such a heinous Nazi thing to say. But it is also 100,000% accurate, no matter who said it or what you think about him. That is a very true statement. You cannot pretend that you are the bastions of free speech and the defenders of all good and then ban people and arrest people. Like the leftists weren't even arresting people when under Biden's administration, to my knowledge, for having the wrong sort of think. They were firing them and banning them from platforms. But now we've got Donald Trump going doubling, quadrupling down on the woke while pretending to be anti-woke, because if you're pro-Gaza, if you're pro-Palestinian, if you're pro-Hamas, you're just evil. You're an evil terrorist. Like, that is the next level of woke bullshit right there. Well, we've got James Lindsay saying that anybody who is, criticizing Israel, then you're the new woke right and you're just Nazis. You're the woke right. But the people who are arresting people for saying the wrong things, I would say is the peak and ultimate pinnacle of the woke right, which is now Donald Trump, unfortunately.
Well, double speak is what demons, that's their number one language, dude. So that's what you have to do. You have to call people Nazis when you're committing genocide. That's everybody's a Nazi while you murder women and children indiscriminately. That's what you have to do.
That's right. And you remember when the leftists were the pro-Tesla, pro-green energy, pro-electric cars, pro-whatever, and Donald Trump was saying, the electric cars, they blow up, and the filling station or the charging stations blow up, and there's not enough energy to go around for anybody. Well, now we've got Donald Trump signing deals with Elon Musk for Tesla. Like, the whole everything is fucking inverted, and now we've got Donald Trump not only supporting these electric cars, not that that's a problem, but while people are, graffitiing, spray painting, hurting the Teslas, Donald Trump is taking a new approach to labeling them terrorists also.
Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. I'll do it.
I'll do it.
We
Sure.
catch anybody doing it.
Literally anybody's a terrorist that I don't like.
American company. I've stuck up for the NFL. I've stuck up for a lot of American companies and other companies, but American companies. I did a very big favor for the NFL. I do favors for all.
What a ramble.
You heard an American.
The question was, are these like, is this would you call this terroristic activity? I'd do it. I love the NFL. I love Tesla. I love American companies. Yes, but hold on. Go back, and can we focus for a second on that whole labeling people who spray paint Teslas as terrorists also? Like,
vandalism is terrorism now. You're welcome.
Right. Like, if there is, like, a bomb or something that goes off at a Tesla factory, I would call that probably terroristic activity. Almost definitely terroristic activity, but painting dicks on the... Oh, there goes my camera. That's cool. That's cool. Just when I was going to make a good point about dicks, too. Yeah. Okay. Well, shit. Oh, there.
Look at that.
And there we go.
He's back.
Nope, not that. Where was I? Yes, dicks. Painting dicks on the sides of Teslas is now considered domestic terrorism by the free... not that this is free speech or anything. That's graffiti. That's vandalism. That's already a crime. Find people and arrest people who are committing crimes. Absolutely go for it. But now we're making new levels of crime out of spray painting dicks on Teslas being terrorism. It's not just the terrorists. It's not just the drug dealers. It's not just the pot dealer down the road. Now it's the vandal who spray paints a dick on his neighbor's Tesla. It needs to be Guantanamo, waterboard, lock him up forever, and possibly, if you're feeling spicy, give him the death penalty because he's a Tesla dick terrorist, Dave. That's a new category.
Look, if you're in MAGA and you really love this shit, like you fucking believe it, and you're just Trump all the way, fuck Massie, you're that guy, it might feel inside like we're going to return to an era long since forgotten of gasoline-powered automobiles that just, take a Maverick across country with his Marlboro red. Bro, that's never fucking coming back. Okay? Donald Trump sells stuff like credit cards, board games, and TV shows, and pizza. That's what he does. And right now, he's selling the American plan for all electric cars on the grid. He's going to nationalize the shit out of this, and he wants to make money with Tesla and Elon, and I'm sure has personal interest as well, but like, he's a spokesperson. That's what he's always been. And now he's a spokesperson for kind of this government contractor who's going to supply probably, satellites and rockets and cars and all the shit. You know what I mean? And he's helping sell it because he's got a brand that people love.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
And now we've got Republicans being the, electric cars, baby. Yeah, that's cool shit. And we got Democrats being like, let's get the Hummers back out and save the country or whatever. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's sad. And I hope that it doesn't stick around and doesn't continue because it gets worse. As we all probably know by now, it does get worse. Donald Trump posted this also this week because Thomas Massie dared to say no to a bunch of, government spending and waste, as is what Donald Trump has been selling for the last 6 months. He implemented Doge, but now it's just too far if you don't want to sign these bills. Donald Trump says, thank you to the House Freedom Caucus for just delivering a big blow to the radical left Democrats and their desire to raise taxes and shut our country down. Because that's what happens when you shut the government down. You shut down the country. We've had many, many government shutdowns, and as we all know, the country was in an entire blackout, and we all ran around like chickens with our heads cut off when the government was shut down. But shut our country down. They hate America and all it stands for. That's why they allowed millions of criminals to invade our nation. Sometimes it takes great courage to do the right thing. Go me. I'm so great. Congressman Thomas Massie of beautiful Kentucky is an automatic no vote on just about everything. Sounds like a former doctor we once knew, who got criticized for voting no on everything. Some called him Dr. No even. Despite the fact that he has always voted for continuing resolutions in the past, he should be primaried. And I will lead the charge against him. He's just another grandstander Just so you know, when the voice goes up, it's when he, for some reason, is capitalizing things at random. The whole thing's not capitalized this time, so he's at least calmed down a bit from the past. Who's too much trouble and not worth the fight. He reminds me of Liz Cheney before her historic record-breaking fall or loss. The people of Kentucky won't stand for it. Just watch. Do I have any takers? Do I have any takers? Anyway, thank you again for the House Freedom Caucus for a very important vote. We blah, blah, blah. Make America great, greater than ever before. Unite, win, whatever. Okay. So, that's great, Donald Trump. Yeah, the one of two that I don't know, that everybody like right of Bernie Sanders loves Thomas Massie and Ron Paul. Anybody who's got like libertarian bend of any kind, not even libertarian, that's a dirty word these days. Liberty bend, liberty Republicans or liberty leaning like reasonable Democrats or people who like liberty, everybody looks at Thomas Massie, at least everybody in our spheres. Maybe we're just in this fucking bubble, but almost everybody in my entire Twitter feed is like, fuck you, Massie, all day long. And now Rand Paul is joining the fray and saying, voting no on this. To my understanding, this bill has already passed, so it doesn't really matter that much, but it is worth mentioning that Donald Trump, because of this no vote that clearly didn't stop it from happening, because Thomas Massie dared be principled enough to try and oppose more government spending, more kicking the can down the road, more of the same thing, because Donald Trump just needs more time to do these plans that he had the biggest, bestest, perfectest plans to do all these things. He's kicking the can down the road. Thomas Massie is saying no, and the entire MAGA cult is like, all of the cultists, at least, are like, fuck Thomas Massie out of nowhere, because they've never had an issue with Massie before. He's been the best on basically everything. And now he's evil because Donald Trump is like, he's excommunicated from the cult. That's what it is. It's literal excommunication from a cult. And all these people turn on a dime like the fucking cat turds of the world who are like, yeah, everything Donald Trump says is gospel. Now that Thomas Massie is the enemy to them because Donald Trump said this, and they're going to try and primary the most reasonable congressman in the entirety of the government, Thomas Massie, and the internet isn't taking very likely to it, and I don't think that we are going to either. What do you think, Dave? Is this just, am I overreacting on or Donald Trump trying to get the only good one overturned or get him primaried?
Well, no, I don't think you're overreacting, and I don't want to insult the intelligence of your audience, so I'll just say this really quickly. We'll tie this into the last topic of the dude who, with the green card from Palestine, Columbia University, might be deported. We have to look for the common denominators here, everybody. Right?
Nazi fags.
Exactly. The Nazi fags overseas really want Donald Trump to do a certain amount of, like, let's just call them favors, right? Because they don't even serve Donald Trump. What are you interested in speech on college campuses? What does that have to do with executive privilege or executive focus? You should be worried about foreign policy, domestic policy, the economy, all those things that, you like talking about the majority of the time. But you seem like you're focused on a specific kind of speech on college campuses. Okay, who does that serve? Check.
AIPAC,
You're really
check.
you're really interested in one member of the House who your base loves, right? So you'd think if you just looked at Donald Trump as an ideologue or somebody who has opinions about stuff like us, you'd go, well, he's base and he's just one vote and that's what he does all the time. So I'm not even going to mention this because it'll only make me look bad. Unless you're serving somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's what is happening.
And
right
Thomas Massie is also one of how many that has never accepted an AIPAC dollar? I'm pretty sure it's at most 2.
Yeah, I think we know those guys, who they are. And that's why he's being attacked. So, shame on Trump for that. Massie, fuck the world. Go, I like the fact, man, I don't like the fact, but don't underestimate Thomas Massie. I feel like that's a man who has lost everything and, is just going to keep it as real as
his wife died last year. Like, if
Yeah,
I
you
was
can't
him,
hurt
I'd be
him.
like, I've got nothing left to nothing to hold me back from fighting at this point. And he seems to be doing it. And this isn't like, again, the bill still went through. We're still going to blow a bunch of money just as we always have. And this didn't change anything, but it was enough that he dared question the king's agenda, and now he must be overturned. Well, the problem with that is that this isn't the first time it's happened. Thomas Massie also opposed Donald Trump's massive bill to, like, the stimulus checks for COVID and all that. Thomas Massie wrote this back in 2020. He said, the stimulus package that just passed is the biggest wealth transfer from common folks to the super rich, Wall Street and bankers in the history of mankind, done in the name of a virus with $1,200 checks as the cheese in the trap. This will be obvious in the short term. And he, from what I hear, got a call right after that. And it was made public that Donald Trump was like, I'm going to primary you. We're going to get you out of there. Fuck you. 2020, 5 years ago, Donald Trump tried the same move, and Thomas Massie's still there being a principled badass. And Kentucky's like, yes, we're going to keep supporting you. And I have a feeling, a sneaking suspicion that a lot of people who are in the Trump camp and the Massie camp, or they have any interest in Massie at all, or they voted for Massie because they live in Kentucky, I feel like a lot of those people, if given the choice, being forced to choose between their congressman being Thomas Massie and Donald Trump being happy today, they're probably going to go with Massie.
I wonder about that. I don't know if they were forced to choose, but just like Ron Paul, like, yeah, the constituency there loves the guy, and he has a safe lead. I think he's won by like 65, 75% of it. Right. Okay. I mean, like,
nobody's broken 25, I don't think.
Yeah, that's incredible. So, like, I mean, I'd imagine it's pretty safe. Like, but you will see AIPAC dump a shit ton of money against somebody who will run against him. But again, if like Barron Trump would have just came up to Trump and there wasn't this game where somebody's pulling the strings and just been like, yo, Dad.
They like him a lot, Dad.
If you put out a tweet that just says, hey, maybe we should listen to Representative Massie when it comes to this stuff. If we want to make America great again, then, we should get spending under control. And
I mean, he didn't even have to concede that much. He could have just been like, I disagree with Massie, or said nothing. He could have said nothing, and that would have been fine. But Barron should have at least said, excuse me, Father, the people love Thomas Massie, and you should probably not. That would have been beneficial.
Yeah.
But instead, we've got people, I don't know if Steve Bannon made this or what. This comes out of Ultra MAGA Party account. Immediately, the propaganda to smear Massie is hitting the fan. And here's Steve Bannon.
Rachel Maddow, if he would just go away, if he would just sign an agreement that he would not run again for public office, this would all stop. And what has Trump said? Nope. I'm all in. Now, why is that? He understands this moment, the urgency of this moment. He understands. That's why I said Thomas Massie and this theoretical talk about the Constitution. The Constitution's been shredded. That's effete intellectualism. That's reading National Review. It doesn't matter anymore. That's just that's salon conversation. We're beyond that.
So first off, people are saying these things are unconstitutional. That doesn't matter anymore from Steve Bannon. We are beyond that. I don't know. I looked for the original clip of him saying this to make sure this isn't clipped out of context, but that's not a great look at all for Steve Bannon to be like, well, it might be unconstitutional, but we're past that now. We've moved beyond that. It's like, hold on. I think that was what you guys were pushing yesterday, is that Biden is doing unconstitutional things and Donald Trump is going to uphold the Constitution. But now that Donald Trump's in there, we're just beyond that. Now that we have all the power, literally, we are beyond the Constitution for whatever reason. Why are we beyond the Constitution? And if we're beyond the Constitution, I don't know. I'm back to trusting Donald Trump lesser and lesser, which makes me sad. But it's like, how come you're not trying to lock up the people who tried to lock you up. Like, the things that we didn't necessarily want him to do but kind of did because we don't really want this power to be thrown around. We don't want this precedent to be set. It doesn't make any sense that he's not doing it, but he's not doing it. Instead, he's locking up U.S. citizens for having the wrong speech and calling out Thomas Massie, trying to get Thomas Massie overturned because he dared question the king. Sorry, I'm rambling. Any thoughts on that? We're overthrowing the Constitution, but we're already beyond that, Dave. Any thoughts?
Yeah, it just reminded me of when I had Monica Perez on my show, and she thought, this was before Trump did anything cool.
Yeah.
And she thought that the whole purpose of the Trump deception is to empty the conservative movement or the Republican Party, or both, whatever, of actual conservatism. You've seen it when it comes, like, when's the last time you ever heard Donald Trump pay any kind of lip service to the Bill of Rights? I don't know if I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
So that's not something that I thought we were going to get, is like a return to like traditional interpretation of the Constitution.
Sure.
I never thought that. But her opinion was that they understood what the Ron Paul revolution was. They knew how to co-opt that, bring those people in, and kind of transform that into what they needed it to be, which was something that we're starting to see, which is, like Steve Bannon, just, well, now we've got this ring of power, so let's maybe take this thing for a test drive. And this is just, this is the tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm.
And it will, of course, be blamed on, well, we have to do this because the opposition is just so terrible.
So old that you're using Lord of the Rings references, and they make perfect sense.
Yeah.
It is a tale as old as time, and it happens every time. And it's been a concern that we've been talking about since long before we decided to support this guy. So it's not surprising, but it is disappointing. I was skeptical the whole time that we would end up getting a rug pull, and it's starting to feel that way. I hope that it doesn't proceed, but now we've got Steve Bannon. More of that.
We're beyond that.
In a tweet sure to garner the ire of President Trump, Thomas Massie wrote on Twitter today, "In order to be consistent in preserving the constitutional structure of our republic, I will be voting for the resolution to prevent the president from using a national emergency declaration to reappropriate money for the wall."
Oh, God. So they go through a bunch of these, like, very Republican talk points. He dared say something like, I try to make friends with people on both sides of Congress, and he apparently told people to lay off Mitch McConnell, which I don't even know what the context is there. It's from 2013, but we're digging up things from 2013 where he would dare say, lay off Mitch McConnell. I would imagine there's probably a lot of dumb story there that doesn't really fucking matter, but just this immediate smear of Thomas Massie video that's gone viral, and I can only find one source for even the clip of Steve Bannon saying it, but it's like, oh, he supported Ron DeSantis instead of Trump, and he said that Ron DeSantis pushed back against the lockdowns while Donald Trump was implementing lockdowns. How dare he say that about Donald Trump, except for if that is literally exactly what happened in real life and we all know it. But Steve Bannon and his people, or whoever made this fucking video, thinks that is a big gotcha, that he called out Donald Trump for locking things down while DeSantis pushed against the lockdowns. Dude, this is what they've got.
If we know anything about Trump, his number one attribute he's looking for is loyalty.
Yeah.
That is what he wants from his followers and from anybody that surrounds him. And as somebody who wants to be king, like, there's a certain amount of, utility, just like necessity. You have to have like loyal people. So, and I disagreed when Massie wanted to support Ron DeSantis for president. I'm like, this seems stupid to me, but I'm not going to take to the internet.
I didn't support DeSantis at all for president. We just
Right.
mocked DeSantis
Never.
the entire time.
Exactly. And it was shocking. And I was like, this is weird. But I'm also able to disagree with people that I admire. And, I'm not going to write him off or, well, you were going against the team or something. Like, it's just all so retarded. So, yeah, but this is like Trump, this is very telling, and it's just very characteristic of Trump. He would rather go stump for Lindsey Graham, who is terrible on everything, and I bet you that Trump thinks he's terrible and everything, but because he's somewhat loyal or on the team or willing to play ball, he'll go do it. He'll bring out the fucking CEO of Pfizer. Oh, we got the CEO of Pfizer here. Isn't that great, everybody? And then tweet about how we should primary Thomas Massie. That is because he is a pitch man. He's the manager. He's acting on behalf of other interests. These are because Donald Trump is not interested in anything.
Yeah.
It's also,
I feel like every 5 minutes we should just always bring up, it's always a good time to bring up that Epstein still did not kill himself and the Epstein files are still not released, even though they've been sitting on Pam Bondi's desk for at least 2.5 weeks.
Bro,
and we're getting them any day now.
You just tied in the third thing. So the Epstein files, the Massie stuff, the guy from Colombia, all the Christians who are getting murdered in Syria right now. You know, there's a common denominator for all of these things. And if only we could figure out what it was. I'll get back to you.
Oh, that's a sound effect that I haven't used in a long time and forgot that I had, but it comes at the most perfect times. Yeah, all this stuff ripping Massie apart, saying that, I mean, it's ironic just from the get-go. If you take this all at face value and you believe that these people are people and we should take Donald Trump at his word and all that, the Donald Trump that we were sold is the Donald Trump that implemented Doge to cut government spending, to give the money back to the people, to end government waste. And then when it came down to it and the Republicans and Donald Trump said it's time to continue government waste, the one man who got raked over the coals for his vote was the one who said, we should do that thing that you said you were going to do, Donald Trump. We should give the people the thing that they voted for, sir. We should give them the cutting of government spending. And Donald Trump said, you're fired. Get out of here. Now, as of today, Thomas Massie is he's fundraising for his next campaign. He said, y'all sent $175,000 to my campaign in the last 36 hours. For the first time, my cash on hand is over $1 million. It's a great start, but I'm going to need more if POTUS makes good on his threat to retaliate for my vote. Please help me set a 48-hour record. So he's already over $1 million in the fuck you money to Donald Trump after this. So good that I think that the loudest people in the MAGA movement are the same on this type of thing as the loudest people in the left-wing movement. They're the most extreme. They're the most cult follower, the most cult ardent followers, and they've made their career by being as such. So they are not able to deviate outside of that. But I think most rational, real humans who did vote Donald Trump in this time around, like us, people who just said, this seems like the best choice. I'm not necessarily fully easy about it. I have my skepticism and my hesitation, but he's saying a lot of good things. We're going to vote for him. I think that type of person, us type of people, don't fall for this bullshit anymore because it feels like the left in reverse. And that's just the left in reverse. Like, that's all the things that we've criticized them for is the cult shit that leads them to firebomb a Starbucks because we need to save black people from the cops or something. This is that in reverse, and a lot of people aren't giving into it anymore, and they're sending Massie bucket loads of money, and I hope that they keep doing it, because rather than Donald Trump sending bucket loads of money to Israel, I would prefer that people send bucket loads of money to Thomas Massie to, push his cause, since he's not willing to accept AIPAC's money. Anyway, Rand Paul also joined Thomas Massie. I don't know how much it matters by now because I guess he came in late in the game to say, I'm a no too. He didn't, which, I mean, I don't know. Is that better or is that worse? Is that smarter because he didn't get the Donald Trump being like, fuck you, I'm going to primary you thing. He got it in under he was always going to vote how he was going to vote probably. He just didn't make a thing out of it. A showboat. He's not showboating or grandstanding, as Donald Trump would say. He just voted no and then said, I voted no, and then it still went through. Is that the smarter strategic move, or is it better? Would it have been better for Rand Paul to be out there ahead of this, being like, I will take the arrows and I will stand for what's right, and this is a waste of money?
They're friends, so it's probably more symbolic, I'd imagine.
What is?
His coming out against it, like Rand Paul coming, like backing him up a little late. Is that your point? Like it's a little too...
Would it have been better for Rand Paul to speak out against it sooner? Would it have been better for Rand Paul to do what Thomas Massie did and say it like a week ago? No, I'm gonna push back against this because it's still a waste of money, and then get the shit from Donald Trump for it.
Maybe. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I think Rand Paul ends up usually voting for omnibus bills, and like I don't know if that's his fight. Heroic on the COVID stuff, Fauci stuff, and some foreign policy stuff. But I'm pretty sure he votes for the bills when they come in. So I don't know. A lot of what Massie does is just kind of it. We talked about this before. Is kind of just symbolic and for show. Like there is no way that when he introduces an end the Fed or audit the Fed bill, it's going to happen. It's not going to happen right now. But it's great that just gets inserted into the conversation. And we've had little...
I mean, if I was in Congress, that's exactly what I'd do. Like, no, I know it's not going to work, but I'm going to keep bugging them with and the Fed and the Department of Education bill and this bill and that bill, whatever.
Right. While MAGA is in the background going, what's he ever done? What laws has he ever passed? It's like, oh my God, I'm living 20 years ago again.
He sounds like a pro-terrorist man to me. He sounds like one of them pro-terrorists.
Yeah.
Yep. Massie also came out and said, well, Donald Trump said, big win for Republicans in America and America. Congratulations to DJT. Yeah, so they got through, and Massie said, who wants to tell them? By continuing 2024 appropriations into 2025 with a continuing resolution, Congress just locked in a large portion of the Biden agenda for the first 9 months of Trump's presidency. That's exactly what it is. It's, hey, all that stuff that we said was real bad, and we were going to be the ones to stop it. We're going to take that. We're going to kick that can at least 9 months down the road. We'll readdress it in September, and then we'll fight about this again, and we'll call Rand Paul bad because he didn't vote for it last time or whatever. And sadly, nothing will change on this note. And some things, though, are changing. As we talked about at length last week, Donald Trump gave Zelensky the smackdown in the White House and told him what's what, gave him the what for, and said that he's not supporting that shit anymore. And we were all like, fuck yeah, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Good on you. And, maybe there was results because according to Marco Rubio, they're in peace talks now.
Today we made an offer that the Ukrainians have accepted, which is to enter into a ceasefire and into immediate negotiations to end this conflict in a way that's enduring and sustainable and accounts for their interests, their security, their ability to prosper as a nation. I want to personally we both want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Majesty, for hosting us, for making this possible. They've been instrumental in this process, and we're very grateful to them for hosting us here today. And hopefully we'll take this offer now to the Russians. And we hope that they'll say yes, to peace. The ball is now in their court. And but again, the president's objective here is, number one, above everything else, he wants the war to end. And I think today Ukraine has taken a concrete step in that regard. We hope the Russians will reciprocate.
Yay! Peace talks. We got Zelensky agreeing to peace talks with Trump. And now we're going to take that deal to Putin. We're going to take that deal because Trump needed to make peace talk deals with Zelensky. That was the real issue here. The holdup was that Zelensky wasn't agreeing with Trump on the peace talks. It wasn't that they're like, this is a mission, seems like a little premature mission accomplished here, that Zelensky agreed to peace talks and agreed to a deal, because Zelensky should have taken whatever fucking deal he could get at this point. But a really big side of this negotiation apparently hasn't been included in on what this agreement is, so it might be a little bit early to be talking or to be celebrating. And also, they had this to say. I don't know who this guy is, but he's there with Marco Rubio.
And I think as a result of this positive step forward, the president has decided to lift the pause on aid and on our security assistance to Ukraine going forward. And that's effective immediately.
Effective immediately. We are lifting the pause on assistance and aid to Ukraine to continue the war. That would be bad. We are talking now about peace talks. We have made an agreement with Zelensky to talk about peace. We're going to get to Putin in a minute. Whatever. We'll get there. But we're not only talking about peace talks, we're also going to give him a bunch of more guns and tanks and shit to continue the war. We're going to do that for the peace. It's going to help peace more if we give him... Like, if how can you say in the same sentence, basically, in the same press briefing, this is over, and also we're giving him more guns and more of our money to create guns and to continue this war?
And it's all you, Russia.
It's up to Putin now. It's in Putin's hands. Okay, well, it was always in Putin's hands. It was always between Donald Trump and Putin. And that's why we were celebrating that Donald Trump was making deals with Putin and Zelensky was being called a bitch because he doesn't really have a say in this unless we give him a say. We just gave him the entire say by saying, we're done with our strong arming you. All that big talk that we did last week, we're just going to sneak that in there at the end of the press briefing. Also, we're giving a bunch of aid to Ukraine still. But, peace, as long as Putin agrees. What's happening, Dave?
Bro, I mean, I hate to prejudge, but I will. There's nothing I'm going to trust less than a fucking press conference with Marco Rubio coming up there.
Marco.
Oh, the only thing we're interested in is peace. Sure, bro.
The neocon to take the reins of yesteryear, like the guy who was supposed to be the next Bush or whatever if Jeb didn't work out, Marco Rubio, the neocon to the stars of the future, got the position. He's now suddenly really interested in peace.
Yeah, that's another reason that that Donald Trump's really not all in charge. Like, he used to, little Marco Rubio, he used to make fun of him like he made fun of Rand Paul. And because Marco Rubio is a loyal stooge of the common denominator, that he gets the job as Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Sorry to keep noticing stuff. But you don't want peace. You never did, and you don't now. And you're right, how they weave that through. It's like, wow, we reached a peace deal, and now it's up to Putin.
With who?
Yeah, exactly.
You reached a peace deal with who? Like the person who had any say in this?
Right.
Or your stooge who you just bitch slapped last week for publicity?
The deal is we get to say that there are peace talks if we continue to send you the aid that we were sending.
Right.
Keep sending all the money and shit.
So what you're saying is Zelensky got exactly what he was asking for, which is, yes, we can talk about peace, but I need more guns and money to fight this war. That's where we're at. We're back to we're in peace talks while sending more war. We're funding more war while pretending like we have accomplished peace.
I don't know, man. It feels like they want to be able to say that we tried everything we could. That's what it feels like. Tried everything we could, but unfortunately, we're going to need to do more war.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, what choice do we possibly have other than sending them more aid for a thing that we said that we weren't going to send them aid for and gave a bunch of reasons why we shouldn't be sending them aid for. Also, it's been about 5 minutes, so it's a good time to remind you that Epstein's files are still not declassified, and time's a ticking, and promises are not being kept. Lots of good promises that we were sold and believed were going to happen and we voted for. I would do it again because it was a good sell. I really hope that any of it was true. And maybe it wasn't. Maybe none of it was true. Ross is free. So we got that. We weren't going to get that otherwise. We were going to get a bunch of bullshit from the other side. Whatever. But Ross is free. So we got that. Libertarian wins. They might have been a lot of bluster, but we got some. Speaking of libertarian wins, down in Georgia, there was a race for chair in the Libertarian Party of Georgia, and Chase Oliver, future president of the United States, ran and lost. And I just wanted to bring that up just cause. No reason, just cause. Libertarian wins. The guy who you guys put up for president can't even win in his own local affiliate for chair. Just saying. And that's enough time spent on libertarian news. I do have some other libertarian stuff that we're going to do an after party and just dig deep into libertarian dumb shit very soon. But, life is busy. Any final thoughts on any of this, Dave? Our golden pony has sadly proven us wrong and right simultaneously because, again, we had a whole lot of skepticism that came along with our support, and the skepticism was, hey, what if this happens? And now we're here, and a lot of this is happening. People are being arrested for having wrong think, and people are being potentially deported for being anti-Semites, and we are refunding Ukraine, but peace talks are in the works as long as, one side that matters very much agrees to it. But all this stuff that is just getting inverted, about-faced, and unfortunately looking like, to some degree, hate to say it, the leftists were right about Donald Trump enacting fascist, dictatorial bullshit, because for all the things that they said was fascist, arresting legal residents or citizens in the United States for having the wrong opinions, that's some fascist dictator bullshit. And I have to agree with them if they actually do call that fascist dictator bullshit. Any final thoughts, Dave, on any of that stuff?
Yeah, man, Spaceballs is one of my favorite movies. Elon's too. And in that movie, they say, evil will always triumph because good is dumb. And you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of that right now all over Twitter and probably in real life, man, from like your friendly neighborhood flag waver and these boomer cons. But I would argue that libertarians, lowercase, Massie, Ron Paul, libertarians, and party libertarians, whatever, get on your right footing. It was a nice couple honeymoon period where we all waved flags and tried to remain white-pilled and optimistic and give the benefit of the doubt. And he's still the best president of my lifetime, despite this shit. True. It's just that the bar is so fucking low.
Yes.
That doesn't mean a whole lot. So, get out there, man. Like this past day with Massie on Twitter, like there was a good mix-up. Be the smarter one. Be the guy who is consistent.
Don't be the cat turd.
Oh God, these people are just, like I probably shared, not any cat turd stuff, but like, I probably shared a fair amount of just like Trump supporter shit over the past couple months if I agreed with the thing, but I'm not on your fucking team.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get it twisted. And remember that we're not on that team no matter what. We have, oh my God, I sound like a fucking libertarian in the worst way. We have principle. Like there are things that matter beyond your guy. It's so gay to see grown men like so attached to a guy.
Yeah.
He's going to deliver everything. It's so weak. And these are supposed to be the strong men. So be strong up here and call people out when they do bullshit and, sharpen the spear, man. This Mike Heiss had a good post about this the other day. It's like, this is the reason why Massie style libertarians should take over the Libertarian Party so that you can use it as a wedge when they start acting a fool. We'll fuck you up next time. If you don't have that tool, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So
you guys mean it or not? If you guys mean it, you can, you don't have to be one of us. You don't have to be one of the libertarian cult either. You can join the party and use the party as a tool to make your party better, or make like a lot of the your party people, a lot of the people who are currently supporting Donald Trump and RFK Jr., they're not Republicans. They're former Democrats who followed a former Democrat over here and said, hey, as long as you're being reasonable, we're down. And in a lot of ways, they're not being reasonable right now. And I don't know where the Maha people stand on like the Gaza situation or any of this stuff. But if you don't like it, yeah, come at least sign up and join this thing that at least and bring more sensibility to this thing to at least push that one particular issue or topic, push some sort of leverage, because without that, we don't really have any leverage. We voted the guy in, and now he does have the power to kind of just do what he fucking wants until somebody impeaches him or something. But he's yeah, he's doing some things. He's
And
going down
he's
some.
immune to criticism. He's immune to that. He doesn't
Right.
give a fuck if everybody boos him. This is a WWE Hall of Famer. Boo
Oh, he
him,
loves
cheer
it when
me,
people
don't give a
boo him.
fuck. Loves
Yeah.
it. So don't think that'll do anything.
Yep. I don't care what you think as long as it's about me. Now, that's that. It's been not the best week for news, but we're still alive, and it's again, even for as big as these things are to people like us, people who really dig into this dumb, nerdy shit and libertarian shit and political shit, it is a big deal. But there hasn't been that much news, which concerns me also. That the only news that we have are these kind of sneaky things that Trump's doing. Other than that, there's no like big distraction news. There's no like Epstein hasn't trended at all this week, to my knowledge. There hasn't been much conversation of any other than just these little nuggets of, hey, actually, that thing that I told you we were going to do with the free speech and with the Massie types and libertarianism type stuff, we don't believe that anymore around here. We're not into that. Anti-Semitism is too dangerous these days for us to put up with it. Like, this is BLM. This is Jew BLM. This is JLM that Donald Trump is pushing right now. And call it for what it is. It is woke bullshit. It is identitarian garbage. And don't be a dick. Don't vandalize. If somebody vandalizes or enacts terrorism, lock them up. Absolutely. If somebody hurts somebody else, arrest their ass. If somebody is saying, hey, this is bad, what you're doing, as we're doing, I would prefer not to be locked up or deported back to where I came from for saying that that this is bad, but this is not good. Hold Trump's feet to the fire. Hold him accountable, even if you voted for him. I don't regret my vote, because for what we were sold from all ends, from all 3 to 4 candidates that were running, what I was sold was better than the rest were selling. And if it ends up being the case, as I suspect, that we're getting a rug pull right now, I still do not regret voting for the best choice at the time, and I will continue to bash the fuck out of him until he course corrects. Not that I'm changing his course at all, but I'm not a cult member of any kind, be it libertarian, Republican, MAGA, what have you. So, yeah, we're going to continue to tell the truth, believe it or not, and it's a rare thing these days. If you like that, go sign up for the Downers Club at patreon.com/The System Is Down. Support the show, and we're gonna talk about more stuff soon, be it me by myself or us together. I don't know. We're gonna do some stuff, and also, as I alluded to very mysteriously at the beginning of the show, we might switch the live stream to Patreon only. So get over there if you want the live stream and you want to interact, but there's a lot to cover. We don't have a ton of time for comments anyway, and there's a lot of waste and a lot of wasted time making sure that the live stream is pristine for the viewing public. So record in the Patreon live stream, and there probably is what we're going to end up switching to. And if you want to interact with us, we'd be happy to read every single one of your comments, as long as it's not retarded. And then it will be going live publicly after that, to avoid, technical glitch issues and all that stuff. I don't know. We'll see. That was supposed to happen before this week, but here we are still doing it. So I'll probably be lazy for another week, and you'll see us next week. But Dave, thanks for being here. Where can people find you? Where can they follow you? And whatever else you got going on, man.
You can follow me at Dissident Media on Twitter, and you can find my t-shirts at dissidentshop.com. Lots of great designs in there. Who are the ad wizards who came up with these? Really good. Really good.
Amazing.
Stuff in there. And also, go send Dan Smotz 5 smackers so you can get in that club and come hang out with us when we finally do decide to press the old record button. Mm-hmm. Also, Dave versus Goliath 1 on Twitter. I'm becoming more and more extreme.
I know.
They're gonna put me on a list. If I'm not on the list, I'm gonna be on the list. So
there's been a couple words that you've said on this episode that I'm pretty sure automatically guarantees you're on the list.
I'm out of fucks, bro.
Well, we'll see how long Dave's tenure lasts on this show as he gets more extreme and becomes more of a liability. I applaud it.
But you're fired.
But I might applaud it from a distance, Dave. That's all I'm saying. Right. Anyway, guys, thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out. We love you so very much, and we'll love you more if you go support the show at patreon.com/The System's Down. Follow me at TSIDpod on Twitter. Dan at TSIDpod.com is the email. TheSystemsDown.tv is the website. Do all that, and we will love you forever or until you're a douche. Until next time, whenever that may be, probably next Wednesday, question everything, stand comfortable, be bad, have fun, question your oligarchs and kings, praise them. When the king does the thing, you kiss the ring, but as soon as the king stops doing the thing and does the extreme opposite thing, you say, I don't know, I guess we need to come up with a better poem than this, but if the king don't do the thing, tell them to go fuck themselves. See you guys next time. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. Smash all the like and subscribe buttons because that's what we say at the end of videos. Good night, everybody.
This concludes our broadcast day.
This has been a Dissident Media production. DissidentMedia.net.